Howdy, howdy,
Okay.
howdy, 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 ho. Really, I should say, we are the champions, my friends. And we kept fighting
Mm.
to the end. 300 and what, 72 days we fought and we
Was
won.
it that many days
For 372
from
days, they
last year?
focused on, because remember, it was the semifinals game. So
Yeah.
yeah. You're talking to two Michigan fans right now, and we are feeling pretty high. I was doing my RoxTalks podcast for the day today, and I said it hit me like I was watching, and as a fangirling, some of us stayed for the whole game.
Mhm. If you can't tell, I've got a little bit of a raspy voice. My butt fell asleep on the couch. I tried. I tried.
Only the biggest game of your life when it
I
comes
know.
to Michigan, but that's okay. It's all right. It's all good. It's all good.
That's okay because a lot of them I haven't watched all the way through. So that was the good luck pulling
Hmm.
through. My subconscious literally shut me down so Michigan could win.
Well,
You're
JJ
welcome.
McCarthy thanks you then because he's very superstitious. So, but this morning I was watching clips and things on X and overnight, and then this morning I was sitting there. I was like, you know what I learned from this, and maybe I don't know. We got to. I mean, Michigan has to be talked about. We're champions, so we can talk about Michigan. But you know what I thought to myself? It was a lesson to all of us because I do think sports is a lesson. We
Mhm.
can learn life lessons. And it's also really wild to think these kids are like 22 and whatnot. But anyhow, they're kids.
Younger, like they
Younger.
are
You're
babies.
right. They're yeah, younger. Some of them 6 years because of COVID. But yeah, you're right. They're like 19, 20, 21. And I felt so bad at the end seeing the quarterback Pennick Jr. on the other side was injured. And like, I'm like, please take him out of the game. You could tell his ribs were like shot and he was hobbling
Oh.
into the out of the stands. And a Michigan player went into the I almost said dugout, but the tunnel because he wanted to say, "Hey, good job." And I thought that was so cool.
Aw.
Um, and then some of their Washington players just sat there the whole time, like during the whole presentation, they just could not get up out of the sidelines. They were just so sad. And that's when I think, oh, these are babies. Someone please make sure they're okay. But what I thought about, and I think is very poignant, is that what Michigan did was they bet on themselves. And when I think
Mm-hmm.
about times in life where things didn't work out how I would have liked, big or small, it's because I didn't bet on myself. It's because I did something that seemed safer or like crowdsourced it or whatever and didn't just bet on myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when it was a reminder to me, like, okay, yeah, my peony era, I'm betting on myself. And regardless of how quickly things come or don't come, I'm betting on myself. I think as we talk to social sellers, as you all are listening to this, let that be a reminder to you to bet on yourself. There are going to be so many instances where people are going to tell you should do it a different way. There are going to be so many instances where people are going to, you're going to get rejection. You're going to feel crappy, all of those things, which if you look at the story of Michigan over the last 372 days, oh my gosh, there's a reason it's Michigan versus everybody because there were so many things, whether it was brought on them by themselves or not, does not matter. There were so many obstacles that came their way and they chose to bet on themselves. And I'm going to go one
Mm-hmm.
further. Okay.
Okay.
So you think about the team that lost last year. Second time they lost to TCU in the semifinals. They were so sad, right? So upset. And some of them have been on the team for 2 years in a row and they lost again. They had options. They could go into the transfer portal like some of them did and then go to another team that maybe looked more promising. Maybe they were dangling more money because you can do that now and
Mm-hmm.
go what seemed like the easier route. You lose 2 times in a row. Are you really going to win this? Or maybe your coach and your team is not going to win this. Maybe you should just give it up. They had an option if they didn't go into the transfer portal to go into the draft and start your professional career and go be an NFL player and do that and get money and all the things. And that seemed really like yummy. But there was a core group, including JJ McCarthy, and we cannot forget Blake Corum because he got injured and could have gone on to the draft. And he said, no, I'm going to stay. We have unfinished business to do. You know how surmountable 372 days, knowing that you have to do all of those practices all over again, knowing that you have to do all of those games and you have to win every single one. And you got to beat Ohio State. And then you got to do like all those things, all those sacrifices, and sit there and go, we have unfinished business. I'm coming back. And he was injured and he had to like rehab and get better. And yet he chose to stay the course. Terrence probably laughed at me because this is not what we're supposed to talk about. What'd you say? You're muted.
I'm muted. I'm muted because I'm coughing. I'm here for it. No judgment. Let's go.
Okay. You think about your business and you think about all of the things that are telling you it's not going to work. You're starting from zero. You're seeing people, maybe your team members who've been doing it for 6 or 7 years. You're like, how am I ever going to get there? You're getting the no's. The person you thought for sure would want to join you in business and even said, I'd be interested. Then you join and they don't want to do it. Or you've been around business for a while and you're getting cancellations and team members are leaving. And you're sitting there going, why am I doing this? It'd be so much easier if I did X, Y, Z. Maybe I should join this other company because they look like they're having more fun, or they look like, oh my gosh, they're making so much money and I could just go do that. Do you see the parallels?
I do. I do.
I know you do. I feel that. And hopefully you do, those of you listening. You have an opportunity. And I'm not telling you what the right decision is. I don't know. But I'll tell you, when I was looking at X, Twitter, there was a player who was put up a picture. His name was Andre something. He had 2 A's. He was on the offensive line for Michigan last year. And he had to put a picture up on Twitter that was him, Blake, and JJ McCarthy just looking sad after they lost the game. He went into the transfer portal because that's what he felt was great for him. And he is a Sooner now, but he was saying like all these great things about Michigan and whatnot and how proud he was. But I thought to myself,
yeah,
how does that feel?
To have left too soon.
Yes. Ouch.
Ouch. Because those 2 years of losing is not losing if you think that you are learning from those 2 years. You are going into this 3rd year, whatever year you want to call it, with way more knowledge. What doesn't work, what works, what you need to do, what you need to do more of, what you need to do less of, and is a waste of time.
You know the road. It's like, these days we're driving around Arizona, and when we drive somewhere, it feels like it's so far. But when we drive back, like that was a lot faster because we know the road. And you know the road once you've done it before. If you decide to see that road as like, if you decide to see it as knowledge, as opposed to, oh my gosh, I can't believe I have to do this again. Because I guarantee that feeling that they felt last night and are feeling right now, those who stayed, come on now, that is better than if they had won it the first time without having to go through the journey they've gone through.
Yeah, like how proud do you think they feel right now? Because I just think like even like your coach learns so much from getting you that far and then not making it. And then you're going to go to a new team. That coach hasn't learned what you guys just learned and went through.
Yeah. And again, we're not saying what was right or what was wrong. And knowing when to hold them and when to fold them, in the great words of Kenny Rogers, is a dance. I mean, it is a dance. We don't know when that is for you specifically. So I'm not saying hang on too long, but at the same time, don't leave the party too early.
Yeah, I think it really comes down to the good old saying of trust your gut. And that's going to mean something different for everybody, but knowing yourself and knowing what it feels like to be like, no, I probably really should move on. Or it's like there's that little voice in the back of your head. Maybe it doesn't make sense, but it's like, stay, stay. And
Mm-hmm.
you're like, but why?
Yeah.
Listen to.
You listen to it. And you're right, because you might have that voice that says, stay, stay. And you might, well, logically, if I write it down on paper, we've lost 2 times. Why would I
Mhm.
stay? If you're trying to logic your way into staying or leaving, that's not the right way. Can we agree on
Mm-mm.
that?
Yeah, I don't think there's maybe a few select people, but like pro con lists, throw those out the window. That just confuses you and gets you all in your head. Like you have to get into your body about some decisions. And I know school doesn't teach you that. They teach you the logic. And there's some like buying a home. You might want to logically look at some numbers.
Sure.
And there's aspects of your business you need to look at numbers. But when it comes down to it, feel into your body and make the decision. And I was just reflecting, I just had my 5-year business anniversary. I
Happy
started it
anniversary.
off, thank you, as a VA. I answered customer service emails, you know? And I remember it was kind of, I think just after that first year, I started to get the itch and I would see like other people selling courses and all these coaches making all this money. And I was like, oh, they did it so fast. Like I can just do it so fast. I've got the grit. And it was a humble reminder that things don't happen fast most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And where I'm at now is a way different place than I thought I was going to be, but I'm still just as proud. And I'm proud of the money that it's bringing in. And I feel really good at about it. And it's like just that kind of reminder and reflection looking back. I'm like, I pushed so hard for this thing I thought I could get so fast. You have to remember that in network marketing too, or any social selling. Like it's not fast.
Mm-hmm. It's not. It's not fast. And I guarantee, I mean, yes, you can prove us wrong. There's someone who did it fast. Absolutely in your company. There are people who did it fast. They do not
Mm-hmm.
appreciate the journey. And you might be like, I don't want to appreciate the journey. I just want the money. Listen, like the journey is where the good stuff is. I can't express that enough to people. That's where the good stuff is literally in the journey. That's where you learn. And if we stop seeing things as failures, which ladies, women who are listening, we are socialized to be afraid of failing, to hate failing. I read this book from the woman who created Girls Who Code. And that's a lie. I didn't read the book. I read a couple chapters.
Okay, that sounds better. I was like, okay, Roxanne.
I did read Informed from cover to cover. And if you're a manifestor, you need that book by Holly Herberg. But this book, I listened to her on Instagram and then I read a bit of it. And it was really good. And it's something that I think that everyone who has children should read. I don't have children, so I'm good. I'm Gucci. But this book talks
You
about
got baby, or
how
you got fur babies.
I do have fur
But
babies, but
yes.
they're always going to be treated as princesses. It's just the way it is. They're going to be. But when you have girls, when they fall,
Yep.
not only do you pick them up and coddle them, but you say, that's okay. You don't have to do that anymore. And you take them on to do something else. Just that movement of it's okay. Oh, you hurt yourself. Okay, let's clean it off and let's go do something
Mm-hmm.
else teaches them not to fail and teaches them if they fail at something to move on.
Quit.
Absolutely. Whereas with the boy, so and I realize that there's caveats and exceptions to this, but this is basically how we work in society. Okay. So I'm speaking in absolutes, you get me. When a boy falls down, we say, you're okay, get back up, you're okay, and do it all over again. Yeah.
Or there's the stop being a little girl, stop crying like a girl, get up and keep going.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I've seen people say that to my son, and I'm like, excuse me?
Ooh. So what happens is we teach a boy, if you fall down, get knocked down, you get up again, you ain't never going to get me down. They learn that rejection is totally fine. Whereas a girl learns rejection or failure, rejection, whatever, is not okay. And we need to go do something where we're not going to get hurt, where we're not going to fail. And I used to walk around saying, I don't like rejection. And I used to walk around saying, I don't like doing things I'm not good at. And at any point when
Mm-hmm.
I was like in choir, any of these things, when I started not being good at it, I moved on.
Same. Oh,
What do you think?
100%. Looking back, like all through high school, I had a different sport every semester because I wasn't the best. So I was like,
Uh-huh.
I'm not the star. I might as well go play volleyball now.
100%. So what does that do in our life besides what you and I just made it, use an example that we lived is this. If you ever notice when there's like a job application out there, they found and they've done studies, women will be overqualified for a job and not apply for it because they don't, oh, well, no, I shouldn't. I can't. Guys will have like 20 or 30% of the qualifications and their asses apply for the job.
Uh-huh. I have heard that. I'm like, what is that coming from? They're taught to be resilient and try anyways.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put 10 out there, and girls are like, I'm gonna apply to one that's the perfect one.
Perfect one. Absolutely. Oh, I don't have the credentials for that, so I could never apply for it. Guy doesn't think that way. He's like, okay, yeah, I'll do it because they're taught that rejection and failure is not a thing. This is also why the guys shoot their shots with girls. They're like, what made you think you could get that girl?
Yes. Yeah.
It's a thing. And again, I'll find the name of the book. I've got it somewhere. But anyhow, it is worth a read or a listen if you are raising kids because, oh my gosh.
It's not Girls Who Code. It's not that.
No, it's the woman who created Girls Who Code, and the book is something else.
I just was on her. Let me see if I can.
Find it.
Brave, Not Perfect.
Yes. Brave, Not Perfect. That's the name of it. Because, and
Okay.
she even talks about how even now as women, we can teach ourselves to be brave and not be perfect, but being perfect, not failing, not have rejection. That
Mhm.
is like, it has messed us up. So where was I going with that? Because when you think about your business, your direct selling business, what a business you're doing, you are afraid that if you won't be perfect at it. That's why people like, I'm not putting anything on social media because it might not be good. I'm, I'm doing a YouTube that is not perfect. I'm just being brave. P.S. And by the way, just
Mhm.
do the thing. People who are never going to be perfect, not any of us will be perfect, never going to be perfect, get further because they're just doing the thing.
Hallelujah. I have learned that over and over again in business because, gosh, you guys, you fail a lot no matter what business. Don't look over there and you're like, that one must be easier. No, they're all hard. You're going to fail. And failing, you pause and maybe feel bad for a second. And then you look back. What can I learn from this? All
Mm-hmm.
right, here we go again.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. This was not what we're going to talk about in the podcast today, y'all. Just so you know.
No, but obviously it needed to come through.
It
So
needed just like a velociraptor.
I was thinking like a puking kid, like,
Okay, well
what?
that tracks for your life. Yeah, I think that's right. What's going on in your world, my dear?
You guys, remember, I think last week I was talking about I was going to go get a facial. Oh no, I had it. I already mentioned that.
Yeah.
My
Mhm.
life's not that exciting. What else has gone on? I think we have COVID.
Well, that's
That's,
something.
yeah, I got in the shower this morning to clear out, I was like, oh, I sprayed my eucalyptus spray. It helps me relax. And I go, hmm, I can't smell a thing. And it's not because my nose is clogged. And then I've got tea, can't taste it. I was like, how do you even get a test?
A COVID test?
Yeah, is that a thing still?
Yeah, you just go to CVS. Some of them just give them to
Okay.
you for free. They
I
have
don't even
tests.
know if I have a mask. So I'm like, how am I gonna go in? Like, this is a whole dilemma. I might just stay home for 5 days. Call it a day.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. You could probably get it delivered. Oh, you can go through the drive-through. Go through the drive-through.
Oh.
Say, I need a COVID test.
Aha. Yes.
There we go. I need an
Helps,
at-home
helps.
COVID test through the drive-through. Make it happen. Give it to me.
Thank you. All right. How about you? What's going on?
Well, we're about to go back to California. You know, when you move and you're like, oh my gosh, I have one more thing to do. Like the last trip back to your place is the worst.
Yeah.
You did that. You had,
Yeah.
yes, you did
I
that. You drove,
did.
yeah. So I
It
knew that
was
it's going to
rough.
feel that way. There's not a lot in the house. I've got a couple things that I still need to sell. So I needed like, y'all come get them. I don't even care at this point. I can't believe you don't want these things, but whatever. That's your issue. So we were there for 3 days and Scott might leave early with Taylor, my stepdaughter, because they're doing this like the largest brew craft beer fest is on Saturday here,
Oh.
and we kind of want to go to it. So Baylor and
That's
I
fun.
fly out on Saturday. So
And he's driving? Are
he's
you guys bringing the
driving.
car?
Yeah, he's driving with Taylor. So they're gonna do a daddy daughter road trip was my idea. I'm like,
Fun.
I'll go do that.
Aw.
And because his
Or is it
backseat,
because you don't want to drive? So you're like,
oh hell
yeah.
no, I don't want to drive. But also his backseat is not conducive to three people. So
Mm,
they'll drive, we'll
mhm.
fly, and then we will be, thank the good Lord, we'll be settled here. And that is when I'll finally feel like grounded. She'll be here for a week or so. So I still feel like I need to like show you around, but then it's like, we're
Yeah.
here. Yeah.
Yep. You close the chapter. I know what you mean because then my mom drove like with me down and then it was like she was there. So I felt like we were doing stuff. And then I'm
Yeah.
like, I want to close the chapter because moving, I've already forgot how hard it is.
Yeah.
I've literally, it's out of my brain.
Well, you don't remember paying, they say, right? So that's the big thing that we're doing. We leave
Yeah.
today. So just, and it's like we're really enjoying the house. So it's like, oh, we gotta leave. Oh,
Good.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what it is. Anyway, that's what on
Well,
me.
safe travels.
Thank you. I appreciate that.